I want to note two things that I really agree with Tom on here. One, this is on the fly. Today it is, the ordinance is for action. It's something some of my colleagues have said they don't like to do. And so, especially for something as big as our budget that we've been discussing for months, to have this come out at the last minute, that we're going to take 1.5 million roughly from our residents, and then we're going to take $1.5 million this year from our residents. Why? So it can sit in the bank in reserve. Not because we have this cliff that is here today that we have to address. We're going to take $1.5 million from our residents and just put it in the bank and look at it and smile. And that just doesn't make sense. Again, as Councilmember Burns noted, we have this lever that we can pull, and we can pull it when we need to, and we don't need to right now. It was also raised so I appreciate Tom for asking, the exact dollar amount that folks are looking to raise the property tax levy by. It was stated, we're not looking at, folks keep saying that we have to raise property taxes, we don't. We have to raise revenue, and revenue comes from a whole host of places. And we need to offset the structural deficit. So I do think that the $1.5 million that in structural reduction of our structural deficit that Councilmember Burns is proposing by reducing CIP does make a difference. And while, of course, it won't affect 2025, we're really trying to solve that structural long-term issue, and that's what we need to look at. And again, there are plenty of other revenue options. Folks, what are the most critical things to our existence just as humans? We need food, we need shelter, we need clothing, those are the kinds of things that we need. We don't want to raise the cost of food. We don't want to raise the cost of shelter if we don't have to. And we don't have to. And Councilmember Harris pointed out that folks don't want this, but they're willing to take the hit for the betterment of our community. Again, if they're willing to increase the cost of housing and just living in our community, maybe they're willing to walk a block or two extra occasionally to avoid paying a slightly higher parking rate. Maybe they're willing to do a whole host of other things that do not, maybe they're willing to pay 10 cents for a paper bag occasionally, rather than increase the cost of housing in our community. And so I think we really need to continue to look at the ways that we can solve this structural deficit, ways that we can bring in additional revenue that will not include this year taking $1.5 million from our residents and sticking it in our excess reserves. And so I would really caution against us doing that. Thank you.
There's still no one asking to speak for the first time, so we go back to Councilmember Burns with 2 minutes left.